Good evening to my gentle viewing audience. This is about take number 5 because I'm out of practice. But I come to you tonight to introduce you to the reincarnation of Harriet Tubman. Hold on, access some teleprompters. That's right, Candace Owens is the reincarnation of Harriet Tubman. If you don't know who Harriet Tubman is, you're a stupid bastard. Or you're just not black. Just goes to show that the educational system has gone downhill. Steadily downhill since I don't know when. But right about now it's just fucked. But Harriet Tubman was a slave. That's what she was. But she got tired of that shit. She's like, man, fuck this slavery shit. Me need free. And so she escaped and gained her freedom. But after gaining her freedom, she thought to herself something like, well, I'm free and I'm loving this shit. Damn, life is good. But that's kind of fucked up. That there are a bunch of people that look like me who still aren't free. So she went back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, bringing slaves to freedom through the Underground Railroad. And that's what Candace Owens is trying to do with black people today. She calls it Blexit. Now, it's not some alternative to breakfast or some shit like that. No. Talking a black exodus from the Democrat Party. You see, the Democrats want you dependent, like children, where you can't do shit without them. And Candace Owens is trying to free your mind so your ass will follow. Now, on Tuesday, April 9th, hold on. Like I said, take 5 because shit, my special hydrating liquid is about up here when I started. On April 9th, House Judiciary Committee held a hearing on hate crimes. They had some motherfucker from Google or a motherfucker from Facebook. I think it was somebody from the Anti-Defamation League. Then, I don't know, the Social Justice League or something of America. And then they also had like Candace Owens here. Now, Candace Owens, well, let's see, no, put it like this. Candace Owens, I said, well, I'll say she speaks truth to power. As she tries to let black people know that the Democratic Party is not for you if you are a civilized black person who has the intelligence to strike out and do things on your own. You're not waiting for a fucking handout because you're a lazy piece of shit. And she was ambushed by Democratic Representative Ted Lieu from California. However, Candace Owens showed what an intelligent black person can do. You don't have to defend yourself with your fist. You don't need a fucking gun to defend yourself. Don't believe me? Have a look.
And of all the people that Republicans could have selected, they picked Candace Owens. I don't know Miss Owens. I'm not going to characterize her. I'm going to let her own words do the talking. So I'm going to play for you the first 30 seconds of a statement she made about Adolf Hitler.
I agree. I actually don't have any problems at all with the word nationalism. I think that it gets, the definition gets poisoned by elitists that actually want globalism. Globalism is what I don't want. So when you think about, whenever we say nationalism, the first thing people think about, at least in America, is Hitler. You know, he was a National Socialist, but if Hitler just wanted to make Germany great and have things run well, okay, fine. Problem is that he had dreams outside of Germany. He wanted to globalize. He wanted everybody to be German, everybody to be speaking German.
Yes, I think it's pretty apparent that Mr. Liu believes that black people are stupid and will not pursue the full clip in its entirety. He purposely presented an extracted clip.
The witness will suspend for a moment. It is not proper to refer disparagingly or to a member of the committee. The witness will not do that again. Witness may continue.
Sure, even though I was called despicable.
The witness may not refer to a member of the committee as stupid.
I didn't refer to him as stupid. That's not what I said. That's not what I said at all. You didn't listen to what I said. May I continue?
Please.
As I said, he is assuming that black people will not go pursue the full 2-hour clip. And he purposefully he cut off, and you didn't hear the question that was asked of me. He's trying to present as if I was launching a defense of Hitler in Germany, when in fact, the question that was asked of me was pertaining to whether or not I believed that whether or not I believed in nationalism, and that nationalism was bad. And what I responded to was that I do not believe that we should be characterizing Hitler as a nationalist. He was a homicidal, psychopathic maniac that killed his own people. A nationalist would not kill their own people. That is exactly what I was referring to in the clip, and he purposely wanted to give you a cut-up similar to what they do to Donald Trump to create a different narrative. That was unbelievably dishonest, and he did not allow me to respond to it, which is worrisome and should tell you a lot about where people are today in terms of trying to drum up narratives. By the way, I would like to also add that I work for Prager University, which is run by an Orthodox Jew. Not a single Democrat showed up to the embassy opening in Jerusalem. I sat on a plane for 18 hours to make sure that I was there. I'm deeply offended by the insinuation of revealing that clip without the question that was asked of me.
That's right. He took a 30-second clip. He said, I'm going to let your words speak for you. I'm not going to try to characterize you. Let's listen to what you said in a 30-second clip. And if you went back and got some of the videos I had before they canceled my initial channel, if like 30 seconds, you're like, well, you ain't saying nothing. This dude just cussing for like 30 fucking seconds. Or you could take 30 seconds of anybody's conversation and pull that shit out of context and make it seem like they are a bad person or what they're saying is bullshit. However, let me read this from another representative. It says here, in regards to taking shit out of context, they do that all the time, especially women of color. I think they mean especially two women of color is what she meant to say. Quote, they take our words out of context because they're afraid, because we speak truth. We speak truth to power. Isn't that what Democrat Ted Lieu did? Took her words out of context because the words that he took, that segment, was from speech shit. Well, we'll just call it fucking 2-hour speech. And you took 30 seconds from it and tried to embarrass her. But she embarrassed the fuck out of you, didn't she? Now, that quote that I just gave you, that didn't come from some Republican trying to protect Candace Owens. That actually came from a Democrat. That's right. And generally, Democrats are hypocrites. Okay, so even though this came from a Democrat, if you showed this shit to her, she would say, oh, well, no, that doesn't apply to us. That doesn't apply to what Ted Lieu did to Candace Owens. It only applies to what the media did to Ilhan Omar. The representative who made that quote was Rashida Tlaib, whatever, T-L-A-I-B. She kind of looks like the Wicked Witch of the West. Don't believe me? Have a fucking look. Shit, there you go. Now tell me I'm lying. But she was trying to defend Ilhan Omar It's almost like the Democrats have to make that a full-time job. They can't represent you or your interests, even though I don't think they should. Fucking Democrats. But Ilhan Omar said, actually, what the fuck? I'll just play it for you. Here, have a listen.
Because here's the truth. Here's the truth. Far too long, we have lived with the discomfort of being a second-class citizen. And frankly, I'm tired of it, and every single Muslim in this country should be tired of it. CARE was founded after 9/11 because they recognized that some people did something and that all of us were starting to lose access to our civil liberties. So you can't just say that today someone is looking at me strange, that I am going to try to make myself look pleasant. You have to say, this person is looking at me strange, I am not comfortable with it, I am going to go talk to them and ask them why. Because that is a right you have.
There you go. Talking about 9/11, saying some people did something. I really want to just slap the shit out of her. Not that I was in New York at the time, but I was alive at the time. I slept with the TV on, and it was on ESPN. And I woke up and I'm wondering why the fuck they have airplanes on ESPN, bunch of dusted people running. Then it's like, why the fuck are they playing a movie on ESPN? And you know how it is. You wake up and you're not really sure what the fuck is going on for about 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Then I realized, well, hold on. This shit is happening real time. Somebody crashed a fucking plane. Well, no, at the time, figured something happened to the plane and it crashed into the tower. And then you watch as a second plane crashes into the second tower, and then at that point you're like, no, this isn't an accident. It's a coordinated attack. And people jumping from buildings. But some people did something. Now at the end of my commentary, I'm going to put Candace Owens' introduction of herself to the committee. But she hits on a lot of points that mirror what I talk about with my friends, black and white, it doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is this, though. She talks of the Democratic Party wanting black people to fail. Well, actually, no. To begin, I'm hit you with this. Because she didn't say this, but I will. The Democratic Party treats black people as if black people are their bottom bitch. If you don't know what that means and you don't know shit about pimping, the fuck. I'm gonna go ahead and pause this shit because my special hydrating liquid is about to be gone. Now it is gone. Hold on. Now I'm back. Look. See, your bottom bitch you don't have to worry about because your bottom bitch always gonna be there. Bottom bitch is gonna handle that business for you. And keep them other bitches in line. So they're going to vote Democrat, and some of them will even pressure their friends to vote the Democratic way, or the Democratic Party as well. Shit happened to me one time. A dude got hella mad, like he wanted to fight me because I didn't vote that Democratic ticket. That was the last time I talked to his black ass regarding how I voted. Democrats want to keep you dependent, black people. And that is what Candace Owens has said. Now, yes, the Brexit movement, or, well, shit, I don't know how she's still using it, considering she's, let's see, she started that shit in October of 2018 as a credit union, and I think it was in Minneapolis, Minnesota, that filed a cease and desist against her before 38 shit. She filed, or she did that shit in October, and they filed their cease and desist October 31st, or 30th. But the thought is correct. You see, the Republican Party used to be the party for black people. And they worked for your vote. They made shit better for black people, like Trump has done when it comes to black unemployment numbers. Who do you think went down south? And I forget if it was a New Deal or whatever the fuck it was. Probably was a New Deal. And trying to make shit better. And I shouldn't say trying, did make shit better for black people. Let me tell you something. Welfare does not make shit better for black people. Reparations, which your stupid ass will never get, won't make shit better for black people. And I want you to check something out. Illegal immigration. Check that out. You see, the Democrats, because you're the bottom bitch, black people, you are that bottom bitch. Democrats are working with, because I can't just say Hispanics, since motherfuckers come from Ecuador and El Salvador, Humidor, shit, Venezuela as far as I know. They figure that if they can get the illegal immigrants into the country and then weaken laws that govern providing identification before you vote. And hell, I think just today, April 12th, New York approved some bill to give like $27 million towards higher education for illegal immigrants, while voting down a bill to pay for higher education for the children of veterans, the deceased veterans at that. You see, they know they've got your vote, black people, so they're not working for it. But they're going to try to get these illegal immigrants in, because if you are accepted into the country and then they work your way towards some sort of amnesty or some shit like that, or even if you can't get amnesty, if you're not deported but can vote, even though you're not a fucking citizen, then you'll vote Democrat, because it's the Democrats that allowed you in so you could do this. But what do black people get? A promise of, we will examine and explore reparations. Oh shit, look, the white nationalists are coming. The white nationalists coming. Was that Paul Revere? The whiteys are coming. The whiteys are coming. Y'all need to vote Democrat so we can protect you from them. Stupid bitch. Hold on. You want to kill? You want to know? Well, no. Let me get this shit straight, because I'm sure, like heart disease or some shit that has to do with high cholesterol with that fried ass food, probably the #1 killer of black people. But you want to know who kills more black people than white people? Black people. Fucking right. Check this shit out. Black people kill black people more than white people kill white people. Now I'm not talking about percentages, just the raw numbers. But they want you to feel that you're the victim. And Candace Owens agrees. And she speaks more eloquently than I do. I mean, not when I'm in the courtroom. Just when I make the videos. Because when I'm in the courtroom, I can't have my special water. I just have to have regular water. Which changes my words up and so shit comes out like more, well, shit just more eloquently. I am more loquacious. Look. Watch the video. Listen to what she has to say. The Democratic Party truly does want black people to fail. The Democratic Party wants you to be smart. They want you to be more scared of Caucasian individuals than the individuals who are taking your life at a greater rate, which is black people. They want you to be dependent upon the government. So you don't get an education. And listen to her. She hits it on the point. You don't get an education. And without an education, you're going to have a harder time finding a good job. If you can't find a good job, you're not going to get a good wage for that job. If you don't get a good wage for that job, you might not take it. Say, fuck it. Hold on, shit. The illegal immigrant will take that low-paying job because $5 an hour in America is probably like $100 in Mexico or Guatemala or El Salvador, or shit, probably worth $5 million in Venezuela. Stop. I can't just say stop being stupid, because the majority of black people won't. All I can say is stop being someone's bitch. Stop being a bitch, because that's what you are to the Democratic Party. Pull your pants up. Put your big boy pants up, your big girl panties up, and take care of your own fucking business. Get a damn job. Well, get an education. Hold on, shit. Democrats wanting black people to fail. They want you to fail so that you will rely upon them. And if you rely upon them, by them, I'm talking about the government, to help you survive. That makes you a slave. And Candace Owens is trying to free you from that. That's it. That's all, Genevieve. I could go on, but what the fuck? Because I generally don't do any political videos. But I'll probably put up one I made 2 weeks ago, I think it was. And then we'll just see what happens. Just in that this is more important than the bullshit that they try to distract you with. That's it. That's all.
Plenty of extra time. Ms.
No,
Owens.
I did not.
Ms. Owens.
Mr. Chairman, There we go. Mr. Chairman, Ranking Member Mr. Collins, thank you for having me here today. I received word on my way in that many of the journalists were confused as to why I was invited, and none of them knew that I myself was the victim of a hate crime when I was in high school. That's something that very few people know about me, because the media and the journalists and the left are not interested in telling the truth about me, because I don't fit the stereotype of what they like to see in black people. I'm a Democrat. I support the President of the United States, and I advocate for things that are actually affecting the black community. I'm honored to be here today in front of you all because the person sitting behind me is my 75-year-old grandfather. I've always considered myself to be my grandfather's child, and I mean to say that my sense of humor, my passion, and my work ethic all comes from the man that is sitting behind me. My grandfather grew up on a sharecropping farm in the segregated South. He grew up in an America where words like racism and white nationalism held real meaning under the Democrat Party's Jim Crow laws. My grandfather's first job was given to him at the age of 5 years old, and his job was to lay tobacco out to dry in an attic in the South. My grandfather has picked cotton, and he has also had experiences with a Democrat terrorist organization of that time, the Ku Klux Klan. They would regularly visit his home and they would shoot bullets into it. They had an issue with his father, my great-grandfather. During my formative years, I had the privilege of growing up in my grandfather's home. It's going to shock the committee, but not once, not in a single breath of a conversation did my grandfather tell me that I could not do something because of my skin color. Not once did my grandfather hold a gripe against the white man. I was simply never taught to view myself as a victim because of my heritage. I learned about faith in God, family, and hard work. Those were the only lessons of my childhood. There isn't a single adult today that in good conscience would make the argument that America is a more racist or a more white nationalist society than it was when my grandfather was growing up. And yet we're hearing these terms sent around today because what they want to say is that brown people need to be scared, which seems to be the narrative that we hear every 4 years right ahead of a presidential election. Here are some things we never hear. 75% of the black boys in California don't meet state reading standards. In inner cities like Baltimore, within 5 high schools and 1 middle school, not a single student was found to be proficient in math or reading in 2016. The single motherhood rate in the black community, which was at 23% in the 1960s when my grandfather was coming up, is at a staggering 74% today. I'm guessing there will be no committee hearings about that. There are more black babies aborted than born alive in cities like New York, and you have Democrat Governor Andrew Cuomo lighting up buildings to celebrate late-term abortions. I could go on and on. My point is that white nationalism did not do any of those things that I just brought up. Democrat policies did. Let me be clear. The hearing today is not about white nationalism or hate crimes. It's about fear-mongering, power, and control. It's a preview of a Democrat 2020 election strategy, same as the Democrat 2016 election strategy. They blame Facebook, they blame Google, they blame Twitter. Really, they blame the birth of social media, which has disrupted their monopoly on minds. They called this hearing because they believe that if it wasn't for social media, voices like mine would never exist, that my movement Blexit, which is inspiring black Americans to leave the Democrat Party, would have never come about, and they certainly believe that Donald Trump would not be in office today. Looking on the next thing to focus on now that the Russian collusion hoax has fallen apart. What they won't tell you about the statistics and the rise of white nationalism is that they've simply changed the data set points by widening the definition of hate crimes and upping the number of reporting agencies that are able to report on them. What I mean to say is that they are manipulating statistics. The goal here is to scare blacks, Hispanics, gays, and Muslims into helping them censor dissenting opinions, ultimately into helping them regain control of our country's narrative, which they feel that they lost. They feel that President Donald Trump should not have beat Hillary. If they actually were concerned about white nationalism, they would be holding hearings on Antifa, a far-left, violent, white gang who determined one day in Philadelphia in August that I, a black woman, was not fit to sit in a restaurant. They chased me out. They yelled race traitor to a group of black and Hispanic police officers who formed a line to protect me from their ongoing assaults. They threw water at me. They threw eggs at me. And the leftist media remained silent on it. If they were serious about the rise of hate crimes, they may perhaps be examining themselves and the hate that they have drummed up in this country. Bottom line is that white supremacy, racism, white nationalism, words that once held real meaning, have now become nothing more than election strategies. Every 4 years, the black community is offered handouts and fear. Handouts and fear. Reparations and white nationalism. This is the Democrat preview. Of course, society is not perfectible. We've heard testimony of that today. There are pockets of evil that exist, and those things are horrible, and they should be condemned. But I believe the legacy and the ancestry of black Americans is being insulted every single day. I will not pretend to be a victim in this country, and I know that that makes many people on the left uncomfortable. I want to talk about real issues in Black America. I want to talk about real issues in this country and real concerns. The biggest scandal, this is my last sentence, in American politics is that Democrats have been conning minorities into the belief that we are perpetual victims, all but ensuring our failure. Racial division and class warfare are central to the Democrat Party platform. They need blacks to hate whites, the rich to hate the poor, and soon enough it'll be the tall, hate